Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Today, we are looking at a truly incredible story. We're talking survival, discipline, and ultimate victory. Because, the American Revolution, it wasn't just won on the battlefield. It was actually won through immense perseverance during some of the absolute darkest days a young nation could ever face. So we're going to trace this whole journey, from the freezing, desperate camps of Valley Forge all the way to the massive diplomatic triumphs of the Treaty of Paris.
Here's a quick look at our addenda. First, we'll cover the Valley Forge crisis. Second, we'll see how training pays off. Third, the Treaty of Paris. And fourth, education, morality, and peace.
But before we get into the historical facts, I really want to anchor our explainer in this powerful thought from Galatians 6:9. It tells us, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Basically, perseverance through hardship leads to lasting results. Keep that idea right in the back of your mind as we look at exactly what George Washington's army endured.
Section 1. The Valley Forge Crisis. So picture this. It's 1777, moving into the bitter, bitter winter of 1778. And the Continental Army, they are not in a good place. Honestly, they are pushed to their absolute limits. We are talking about three major hardships here: extreme cold, severe hunger, and rampant disease. Washington's army was drastically undersupplied. The soldiers literally lacked shoes, leaving actual bloody footprints in the snow. They were shivering without blankets, surviving on this stuff called fire cake, which is just a tasteless, miserable paste of flour and water. And because of these horrific conditions, so many soldiers suffered deeply, and quite a few simply packed up and left the army entirely. It was a moment of profound, freezing despair.
But here is the question that kind of changes everything. How do you turn a crisis into a classroom? Because the army didn't just sit there feeling sorry for themselves, waiting for the snow to melt. Leadership actually stepped up. They used this pause in the fighting not just to survive, but to fundamentally improve themselves.
Section 2. Training pays off.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that it marks the exact turning point where this ragtag rebellion actually became a professional military. And you can thank this guy, Baron von Steuben. He was a Prussian military officer who showed up at Valley Forge and somehow saw potential where everyone else just saw a freezing, starving camp. And fun fact about him, he barely spoke a word of English. He had to rely on translators to shout his orders, and apparently a lot of very colorful curses in this wild mix of French and German. But he didn't just give them a pep talk, right? He gave them a system. He brought elite European military discipline straight to the American troops.
And he implemented a super rigorous curriculum to make it happen. Step 1, military drill, forcing the men to move together as a single, unified machine. Next came camp hygiene and organization. He literally saved lives just by restructuring the camp to stop the rampant disease that was spreading. And finally, he introduced advanced battlefield tactics. Step by step, he built this incredible foundation of discipline right from the ground up.
In the night and day difference, it was undeniable. Before Valley Forge, they were the struggling, loosely connected group of militias that didn't even have basic supplies. But after that grueling winter of training, when the army marched out in the spring, they were a highly coordinated, professional army moving with real confidence. Better training meant better performance in the campaigns to come. Morale completely skyrocketed, not because the winter was easy, obviously, but because they had actually earned their confidence through their own grueling effort.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. The Treaty of Paris.
So you see, wars don't just end on the battlefield. They end on paper. Jump ahead to 1783, and the Treaty of Paris finalized exactly what those battles, those alliances, and that immense endurance at Valley Forge had achieved. Getting clear terms down is absolutely essential because it prevents future conflicts and forces the world to acknowledge the new realities. The Treaty of Paris essentially took the grand ideas of the revolution and put them firmly into international law.
Let's break down the actual terms of the agreement here. First off, Britain finally recognized U.S. independence. That was the ultimate prize, right? But they also conceded massive territory, pushing the borders all the way out to the Mississippi River, and they agreed to withdraw their troops while granting fishing rights. Now, in exchange for all that, the new U.S. government promised to encourage the repayment of their existing debts and to treat British loyalists fairly. It was these specific compromises that made the new nation a legal reality on the world stage.
So when we look at the revolution as a finished picture, we see all these vital elements perfectly coming together. The perseverance at Valley Forge transformed the army into a truly capable force. The diplomacy of the Treaty of Paris secured and legally recognized that independence.
What started out as a series of protests in the colonies officially ended in a recognized, legitimate nationhood. It really took both the grit to survive the winter and the wisdom to negotiate the peace.
Section 4. Education, Morality, and Peace. We've talked a lot about the historical facts, the what and the how, but now let's apply this to our own lives using the philosophy of the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learners series. And the crucial point is this: education without morality will hurt. Think about it. Just like the Continental Army needed serious discipline to effectively wield their newfound strength, what is the point of being highly intelligent and capable if you just make bad choices that hurt yourself and the people around you? True education has to intertwine knowledge with a really strong moral compass.
Just as the Treaty of Paris brought peace to a brand new nation, Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. When we actually combine our education with a solid moral and spiritual foundation, the ultimate result is internal peace. That is the true core reward of meaningful, grounded learning.
To wrap up our explainer today, I really want to leave you with a challenge. What personal quality from Valley Forge do you want to practice in your own life? I mean, is it the strict discipline of von Steuben? Is it the sheer endurance of those freezing soldiers? Or maybe the vision to see a classroom hidden inside a crisis? Take a moment today to think about how their perseverance can inspire your own personal journey. Thanks so much for focusing in with me, and keep learning.